One of my favorite systems of all time has been discontinued after almost 10 years on the market. The 3DS is done its life cycle, and it had some incredible games. Hey Nintendo fans and collectors, Lithium here from my channel Nintendo Collecting. I'm going to go through my collection of games and all the consoles I have for the Nintendo 3DS. This console was originally released back in 2011, especially when it first came out in Japan. It came out in Japan, I think, February the 26th, then it launched worldwide 1 month later, on various days basically, but the whole world got it by the end of March. This system has pumped out classic game after classic game. Trying to make a top 10 list, by the way, for this console would be absolutely incredibly difficult because there are so many games in this system I just want to play over and over and over again. So let's get to it. My entire collection of 3DS stuff as of September 2020. In total, Nintendo released 6 different variations of console design for the Nintendo 3DS. Maybe more, correct me if I'm wrong, but we had the Nintendo 3DS, then we had the Nintendo 3DS XL, we also had the new Nintendo 3DS and the new Nintendo 3DS XL, then we had the Nintendo 2DS and the new Nintendo 2DS XL. So many different variations. In total, I own 18 systems that can play 3DS games. That's getting crazy. Let's go through all of them. My experience with gaming on the 3DS started with this special edition right here for Zelda's 25th anniversary. This is actually the only original 3DS that I have, and this one did come with a physical copy of Ocarina of Time. The system is here, it's gold, it's beautiful. I did do an unboxing video of this, by the way, on YouTube several years ago, and I loved the first start of the Nintendo 3DS. But after that, we had the Nintendo 3DS XL. So this is the A Link Between Worlds variation. Of course, I do have an unboxing video of almost all of these systems up on YouTube. So I have so many of the Nintendo 3DS XLs, actually, the different variations. I think I have 6 of them, maybe 7 of them. That would be a lot. I think I have 7. So first of all, we have this one. Then we have the Nintendo 3DS XL. I don't have this one. This is the NES edition, by the way. There's also, I think, one out for the Super Nintendo, but that's the new Nintendo 3DS. I don't have that one yet. I'm after it in my collection. The design job on this is kind of a little bit quick. It looks like they just slapped a decal kind of sticker design on the system. Not too much used, that they could have probably done a little bit better with this system, but overall, it's pretty good. Then we have the Super Smash Bros. Edition. This is the red one. There's also a blue one that's out there that I want to get. Look at how many characters they fit on this system. I wish it was in color, but it kind of gives it a really nice classic look now that I'm a little bit older and it's in black and white and red. I kind of really love that system. Next, we have the new Super Mario Bros. 2 Gold Edition. This one I have a special design for. By the way, any of these stands that you see that are specially designed throughout this video are from Rose Colored Gaming. Want to give them a shout out. They're awesome. They make really cool stands. Some of them are themed for the system specifically for a nice special edition console, and other ones are just more generic. And they also make stands for like Wii remotes and N64 controllers and GameCube controllers and everything like that. Anyways, I like this edition of New Super Mario Bros. 2 for the 3DS. Again, they could have taken the design maybe a little bit farther, but they really put the theme of the game there, which is gold, especially with that game. After that, one of my favorite console designs of all time, this is the new Nintendo 3DS XL. So I'm going to hold on to that one and jump over it so I can talk about that a bit more with the other new Nintendo systems. So the 5th and 6th consoles that I have for the Nintendo 3DS XLs are both of the Pokemon editions that were released for Pokemon X and Y. They are identical counterparts. One is red, one is blue. My wife uses the red one. I use the blue one when I finally got it eventually. So the red one, I definitely have an unboxing video up on my YouTube channel. I'm not sure if I have one of the blue one quite yet. I'm not sure if I ever did that video. Really cool designs on these systems. By the way, if you're curious about the back of the system, we have a little nice touch with X and Y on it, if you can make that out, and also the 3 starter Pokemon in the bottom corner. Love when they do a little bit more than that. What I don't love is when you open up the console and there's nothing special about it on the inside. It's just plain black. I wish they did something a bit more, because honestly, when I'm playing, the system is opened and I'm not seeing the beauty of the design. So they could have done a little bit better probably on the inside of a lot of these consoles. After the Nintendo 3DS XL, we had the new Nintendo 3DS. I don't have any of those variations, but I do have the new Nintendo 3DS XL. So this is the larger variation that I thought this was a little bit more worth it. Why I don't have any copies of the new Nintendo 3DS, those names get so long by the way, the faceplates kind of threw me off and I wasn't that interested in collecting all the different faceplate variations. I thought Nintendo was kind of making a mistake with the faceplates because their special edition consoles are so wicked and they sell so well for them. So I thought I'd get into it, especially with the XL variation of the new Nintendo 3DS. So here is the Majora's Mask Edition. There is another one of these, I think it's a new Nintendo 3DS XL, that is the Hyrule Edition, the Hyrule. I don't have that one yet, I'm after it, and I'm really on the hunt to see if I can find that somewhere. The other one that I have here is one of my favorite console designs that I mentioned. This is the Metroid Samus Edition. This one is so cool. Again, we have yellow on one side, kind of in the honeycomb design, and the orange on the other side. I'm always a sucker for orange. Metroid is always amazing as well. Same thing though, you open up the system and it's plain black. I wish Nintendo did more for that kind of stuff because I would have liked it. So after we had the new Nintendo 3DS XL, they decided to come out with the 2DS system. So with the 2DS system, there's a lot of different variations. First one that I got, I believe, was this Ocarina of Time 3D one, which I already talked with the DS's. So I'm going to go through all of those right now separately. These 2DS systems were released for Pokemon's 20th anniversary, and I love this set. The prices for these have gone up a lot over time. The good part about these games is that they each actually come installed with one of the games from the Pokemon franchise, of course. So we have Pokemon Yellow. These are the Japanese editions, but there are also, I think, European editions of most of these. I don't know if it got all four in Europe, though. So we have Pokemon Yellow. I'll just leave that kind of maybe in the background there. We also have Pokemon Green, which was never released in North America, which is kind of so strange, but we have Venusaur on that cover. We have Pokemon Red with Charizard, so that's really neat as well. It's unfortunate I can't read these, by the way, because I can't read Japanese text. And then my favorite, we have Blastoise on the cover of Pokemon Blue. So these ones are harder to find. Your best bet now is probably buying these on eBay, and they're my favorite special edition Pokemon consoles probably that I own in my collection. And putting these all together looks so cool. But that's not the only 2DS systems that I have. There's a few more 2DS systems. So then we have The Legend of Zelda. The Legend of Zelda, specifically Ocarina of Time 3D, this comes pre-installed. So this one looks really weird to me. At first I loved it, but now I'm not sure anymore. So we have green on this system with yellow, but then the back and the top is almost like really, really dark brown. It's not the right gold for The Legend of Zelda. So this is a kind of really interesting take on the system. From my understanding, the stylus itself as well, let me just look at the stylus, is that weird brown color. Let me just show you this so that you can take a look, by the way. Not gold like all the other special edition Zelda systems. It's a little bit weird. And that's not the last 2DS that I have. There's actually one more that I got very, very recently for New Super Mario Bros. 2. So this one is a little bit more plain. We have the console being white with some red highlights on it. And I found this one locally for like $40 or something like that, $30 or $40, so I just couldn't resist. I actually think it came with the game as well. These are solid systems. They're not going to break on you because they have no hinge, but they of course don't play games in 3D, and the price of them is a lot less expensive than all the other systems because it's a lot easier to make these systems, especially when they don't have the clamshell design. I don't think these are very comfortable. They don't fit in your pocket nearly as well. But some people say they fit their hands really easily, so maybe try it out, see what you think of the Nintendo 2DS. I think it's a really strange part of Nintendo's history, but really neat nevertheless because they were trying to bring down costs of the 3DS and offer the system to even more gamers, which is never really a bad thing. You know what, Nintendo variations of consoles is always kind of cool just to have them out there. I'm talking to you, Game Boy Micro, by the way. And rounding out the systems that are playing 3DS games, we have the new Nintendo 2DS XL. This is my favorite variation for a handheld system that I'm still playing on, along with the Samus edition that is down there. This one is spectacular. Look at this design on the console. It's beautiful. I really recommend the Hylian Shield edition if you can get your hands on it, by the way. But there's more of those that I have. So I do have the orange one, and I also have the turquoise one with black. The white and orange and turquoise and black. These ones I got very, very recently. The orange and white one does come with Mario Kart, and these ones were discontinued a little bit while ago, meaning Nintendo was not making anymore before they announced full-blown that Nintendo has discontinued all of the 3DS systems. So these ones, if you can still find them in store, they're usually going on sale for less than $100, so you can definitely try your luck and maybe find a really good deal for them. I bought them locally, so I got this one I think for 40 bucks, and the other one I did buy brand new, and I think I did an unboxing video for that one, so that one's also up in the description, or rather as a card if you're interested. To kick off the games on the 3DS, I thought I had to start with the Pokemon franchise. So first we have Pokemon X and Pokemon Y. I really enjoyed playing through this with my wife. She was into this a lot more than I was. She had a bit more time on her hands at the time, and she grew up with Pokemon way more than I did. I wish there was big box variations of these games, because I don't think there is, and there's so many other big box variations for these other games that I'm about to talk about on the 3DS. Next up we have Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. So these are of course remakes. A lot of people are holding their breath for remakes of, I think, what they should probably do next. I'm thinking they do Diamond and Pearl remakes, maybe Platinum. I'm really hoping that those come out next year in 2021. I'm not sure where else they would take the Pokemon franchise other than doing remakes for those, because we already had Ruby and Sapphire. Emerald's not going to be remade, of course, so yeah, I really hope we get Diamond and Pearl, but these were really solid remakes. If you're going to play these games, I mean, I suggest these variations anyways on the 3DS. Then we start having games that I do have big boxes for, which I'll get to in a moment. We have Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon. These are the least expensive games right now for the Pokemon franchise. I did do a pricing guide for all of the Pokemon games and a completion guide. So what makes it complete in box? Check a card, which is in the top right-hand corner of the video if you would like to check that out. So these games did get big box variations, as I mentioned, which I did pick up a little bit recently. We had a big box variation. This one, the sticker's kind of coming off. This one came with a figure. There's another one that is for Pokemon Sun, but I don't have it quite yet, so I'm after it. This one is quite a large box, so it's pretty big for this one. I'm just going to leave that one on the side for a moment, because we also have the double pack. The double pack has a bonus, which includes the Steelbook game case. That is so neat to have any of the Steelbooks, especially for Pokemon. This one is also pretty big, but it's not quite as big as the other box for Pokemon Moon that has the figure inside. So I really wanted to find the other one that will be for Pokemon Sun for that. So let's just stack all these up. Alright, after that, of course, we have Pokemon Ultra Sun and Pokemon Ultra Moon. So Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. I don't have Ultra Sun to actually play quite yet. I have it sealed as one of the variations. So first of all, the game should obviously just be like this. This is Ultra Moon, so they're pseudo kind of sequels to Pokemon Sun and Moon. But then I have, for Pokemon Ultra Sun, I have this, which is a slightly larger box, but I just have the box for this, so I need to get the game. This is supposed to include the Dusk Mane Necrozma. I always pronounce that like insanely, but Necrozma? Yes, keychain. It also includes an in-game code for 12, basically revives that you get in this. And there's also a variation of this for Ultra Moon. So we have the big box for both of them. So this is pretty neat. This is the Dark Wings edition, by the way, for the Ultra Moon. So these two, I have both of them, so that's wicked. But there's also a big box on the 3DS for Ultra Sun and Moon. This is the factory sealed one that I was mentioning. So I don't want to open this up because it's worth way more money if I just keep it sealed. I actually feel guilty opening up anything that's factory sealed that's especially more than 5 years old. If you can't find it in stores anymore, I just feel really bad. So I still need a copy of Pokemon Ultra Sun that I can play. So there's not one in this box. There is one factory sealed in this box, but I want to get it. Let me know what your favorite Pokemon game is of all time, but more importantly, what's your favorite 3DS Pokemon game? Which would you recommend for people to start? In terms of collecting, I recommend Sun and Moon. Those are like $20 or less. You can probably find them locally for that really good deal. So that is my collection of Pokemon games on the system for the 3DS. To kick things off for all of the Mario games on the Nintendo 3DS, of course we have Super Mario 3D Land. This is one of the best Mario handheld games out there. They use the 3D really intelligently, and it feels like a game made ground up for the 3DS. In terms of handheld games, I love this one in Super Mario Land 2 personally. Next up, we have New Super Mario Bros. 2. Going from one of the best handheld Mario games, in my opinion, this one is one of the weaker ones. It just felt like the formula got a little bit tired for the New Super Mario Bros. Games at this point, and a little bit too much coin collecting for me. It's still a solid experience, though. It's probably like a 7 to a 7.5 out of 10 for this, whereas Super Mario 3D Land is probably near the 90s. After that, I have Super Mario Maker 3DS. I wonder how good this game will be, especially after there's online support, or at least the online support's gone for the 3DS, because most of the fun of these games is sharing levels, of course. So, Super Mario Maker 3DS, not as good as Mario Maker 2 on the Switch, in my opinion, especially with all the added content that they have. Although the mechanics did change a little bit. I noticed a lot of the controls changed. Then we have the Mario RPG game. So this is Mario & Luigi Dream Team. A lot of people do put this really high up in the Mario & Luigi games, but for some reason it's not that high up for me, probably because I played the other games first. Like Superstar Saga was the first one I played, so I like that one the most. A lot of people have that with nostalgia goggles, I guess. And then there are other ones for the Mario & Luigi games that are remakes, so we have Superstar Saga, but I don't have that one or the other remake yet. I think for Bowser's Inside Story made it on the 3DS, so I'm after those. Harder to find them though, but a really, really, really solid series. I miss Mario & Luigi, and just in general, I miss Mario RPG games. Now that Paper Mario is not an RPG game, I hope to bring those back at some point, but Alpha Dream's been in a little bit of trouble with money, and they're gone. So we also have Mario & Luigi Paper Jam. This is a good transition into the Paper Mario series. So this one kind of is more of a Mario & Luigi game than it is a Paper Mario game. It's a pretty good experience on the system. On the 3DS, it's a pretty good addition into the series from Mario & Luigi, but same thing, the series might have got a little bit stale, and maybe that's why we don't have Mario & Luigi games anymore. I would love for them to bring that back. Then we have Paper Mario Sticker Star. A lot of people played this and enjoyed it for what the game is. It is not the classic Paper Mario, of course, and this is probably one of the weaker Paper Mario titles to a lot of people. It's still pretty solid. It's just at the point with Nintendo not being able to have creative characters, and they just had way too many repeated characters throughout this game, and the sticker hole concept. Once you use the sticker, it's gone, and you have to have specific stickers to solve some puzzles. So it was a little bit different than the other Paper Mario games. Then we have Mario Parties. So this is Mario Party Island Tour. We also have Mario Party Star Rush. And then we have Mario Party The Top 100. So you get 3 Mario Party titles. The Top 100, to me, should have been such a great idea. I wish that game came out on the Switch. I wish fans could have voted for some of the different levels or the different kind of things that you could have in the game, because there's only one map, and it kind of ruins how good this game should have been. I hope they port it to the Switch, and make it a little bit better. Star Rush is really interesting, actually. You can move around the map a little bit faster in this one. You're trying to collect stars. The gameplay's sped up. It's probably the better one of the 3. And then Island Tour, to me, I think this was a bit more of a classic Mario Party experience. So you have 3 options, at least on the 3DS. Let me know if there's more, if I'm missing any than those 3. Other Mario Kart games. We're into all of the spin-off games. So we have Mario Kart 7. I have such a difficult time trying to make a top 3 tier list or top 3 games for the Mario Kart franchise. I would always feel bad to leave this one off the podium, off the top 3, because it's such a solid Mario Kart experience. I really like the DS version as well. And then, of course, Mario Kart 8 is fantastic. 64 is great. Double Dash, they're all up there, even Super Mario Kart. So it's really hard to pick any, but really solid experience. Love playing with this one, especially with friends in university. Sticking with the Mario Party spin-offs, we have Mario Tennis Open. Now, the Mario Tennis franchise, to me, has just gotten a little bit worse over time. I love the 64 version, even the fact that you have power-ups and you can use different items and the Bowser course and all the different types of courts that you could unlock. But recently, a lot of the Mario Tennis games have felt like just like an arcade experience, and that's kind of what they were on the Wii U anyways, and the Switch version is just okay. So I really hope there's more glory to the Mario Tennis games. And by the way, there is a World Tour Mario Golf game, but I'm missing that one, so I don't have that one yet. Then we have Mario and Sonic games on the 3DS. I only have this one. Let me know if there's more on the 3DS. I haven't done any research into if there's more of the Mario and Sonic games on the 3DS because I just got the 2016 one on the Wii U, but I haven't really talked about that one yet. So these are really solid experiences. They're not amazing, they're not incredible, they're not A-rated games or anything. They're just pretty good experiences. Then, kind of getting a little bit farther out there from the Mario universe, we have Yoshi's New Island. I wasn't sure where to include this. I have not played this yet. I've kept it sealed. I really, really liked the game on the Super Nintendo, but this is a whole different game, and it didn't quite live up to the expectations of a lot of people. I watched it streamed on Twitch by several different people, and I just never got around to opening it. So if you played this, let me know what your thoughts are on Yoshi's New Island. We also have Poochie and Yoshi's Woolly World. I do have a special edition of this, which I'll talk about later on. And these games have such wonderful design and graphics. I was really shocked that they ported this over to the 3DS, by the way, because originally this was on the Wii U, but they added a little bit to it, of course. And then the game that I dropped, I'll get. So we have Super Smash Bros. For the Nintendo 3DS. I wasn't sure to include this as a Mario game or not. Again, this game was out on the Wii U, and it was out on the 3DS, and I remember me and my friends, especially Kevin, getting this at launch, and being so excited and playing as Little Mac, especially with that power-up, or like basically being able to use any character you want. It was insane how many characters were in this game, and then the Switch game came out, and everyone came back. But playing Smash Brothers on handheld, that was insane to me, and I was so happy Sakurai brought that to us. So there's one more game that I have on the 3DS that's related to Mario, and this is Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. There is also the remake of the original Luigi's Mansion that you guys let me know about, so that is on my radar. I really want to track those down. This is one of my wife's favorite series, especially the one on the GameCube. I don't know where this would be in the 3 games. Maybe this would be second or third amongst the 3 Luigi's Mansion games. Let me know where you would place Dark Moon, because the first one to me is just so iconic, but it was really, really short. So that is all the Mario-related games. Of course, I said I am missing some, but let me know if I didn't mention any and you think I should definitely pick up some other ones that are Mario-related. Let's talk about the Zelda games on the 3DS. First of all, we have A Link Between Worlds. This is my favorite handheld game along with Link's Awakening. Some would say that this is even better. It's more modern, of course, and it does have a lot of things in the Legend of Zelda games that people love. The best part about this is the mechanic that you turn basically, I guess, kind of sideways and you go into the wall. So you almost become wall art, and that helps you solve a lot of puzzles. Constantly when I was playing through this game, I wouldn't even realize, and I would forget about that ability. But this is such a solid Zelda experience. If you haven't played this yet and you're a fan of Zelda games, definitely try and find A Link Between Worlds. How is there no special edition for that game, by the way? Then we have remake games on the 3DS. So I was really excited because I think Grezzo was the company that made Ocarina of Time 3D. Would love to have this ported over to the Nintendo Switch, by the way. And we also got Majora's Mask 3D. So it was really cool for Operation Moonfall to work out and to get these games, especially Majora's Mask, because I didn't think that would come over to the 3DS. It made sense. The engine's really, really similar. The graphic upgrades to this is crazy. It's just so weird trying to play this to me on the 3DS, because I'm so used to the N64 controller. It's just as weird as me trying to play through these games on the GameCube on the Master Quest disc. It's just a little bit weird. It feels a little bit off, and they did do some upgrades to like the swimming, and they changed some things, so just be aware of that, but the Bomber's Notebook alone in Majora's Mask 3D made it way better and way playable. So this is some of the best games of all time for The Legend of Zelda. Not only did we get Majora's Mask, but just a small shout out to this collector's edition with the Skull Kid figure. This one is still factory sealed. I do have one that I opened up, and you're going to see this again when I go through all the special editions for the 3DS. More Zelda games though. We also have Triforce Heroes. This game kind of reminded me back to the 2 games that were on the Game Boy Color. We had Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons made by, I believe it was made by Capcom, those games, and there was supposed to be a trilogy of those games. So for some reason, the trilogy always reminded me of Triforce Heroes. You can play through this game with 2 friends, so 3 of you can play together. The problem is just finding 2 other friends to play Zelda with handheld. It honestly is such a good experience. The next time I can get a few of my buddies together, I really want to play through this with them, because it's so cool to play multiplayer Zelda games. I also really recommend Four Sword Adventures on the GameCube. That is a fantastic experience as well, but you need to have Game Boy Advances and link cables in the GameCube. It's a little bit complicated. This is way simpler for multiplayer Zelda. We also had Hyrule Warriors Legends. They just announced Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, so that is coming out, and it's basically a prequel, it looks like, to Breath of the Wild, so I'm really excited for that. If you like hack and slash, if you like Dynasty Warriors, this is definitely for you, and a lot of the characters in here, it's crazy to see them as playable in The Legend of Zelda, so that's so cool. I'm looking forward to playing as the champions, by the way, in Age of Calamity. So those are the Zelda games. For the rest of the games, I'm just going to go through them mostly in alphabetical order, so I'm not really going to go by franchise anymore. So first, we have Animal Crossing. This game, you can sink your whole life into, just like the Nintendo Switch. This is called New Leaf. It is one of the better Animal Crossing games, honestly. If you haven't played this, and you really like the Switch version, a lot of the games are really similar, of course. So you know what you're getting into. It's just a different experience, and it's still in handheld. It's almost unfortunate that the Switch version New Horizons exists, because not enough people are still playing this anymore. It makes sense that people moved over to the new game, but I still think it's that good. Then we have Bravely Default and Bravely Second. These two, I had a copy of just the cartridge of Bravely Default, and I played through it for a while. I don't know what happened, my life got busy, but honestly I was having a great time with it. I really want to go back, but these two are factory sealed, and I almost feel guilty about it because I want to get them opened again, and I have since sold that cartridge off, but I would highly, highly recommend these two games. I also think they're going to be insanely collectible, and a lot of people will want them later on, so I think you should get those now if you don't have them. Then a game from Nintendo, got this for $9. This is called Codename Steam. I don't think this sold nearly as well as Nintendo hoped. It's a really interesting, strange game. I have not played this through at all yet, so I'm kind of looking forward to maybe doing that at some point, especially when I have way more free time, just to check it out and see what it's all about. If you've played this, let me know, but I thought, hey, $9, game made by Nintendo, let's do it. Then we have Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D. This game I played a lot on the Nintendo Wii. My wife and I love playing through the Donkey Kong Country games. So it's really neat to have this game, especially now you have it in handheld, because you kind of have all the other Donkey Kong Country games in handheld because they were ported over from various systems like the Super Nintendo. So this one, at least the waggle's gone for rolling, and it's honestly one of the harder games. I feel like Kirby handheld games are easy, Mario is mediocre, and then Donkey Kong is difficult in terms of 2D platforming, but a really, really solid experience, whether you're playing that on the Wii or you're playing it on the 3DS. Then I got Final Fantasy Explorers. The only reason, I guess why I have this in my collection, and it's not mint, it looks like it has a little bit of water damage to it, is because I bought a 3DS collection. I believe I bought the Metroid edition. So you can kind of see the Metroid right there, and it came with like 6 games. So I got this for relatively almost free, and I was like, yes, please, sure. So let me know again, that one, because I really want to play it. A lot of people ask, have I played every game in my collection? I've tested them all, but I haven't played through all of them. There's a lot to play through, but what I have played is Fire Emblem Awakening. This is likely the best game on the 3DS. That's crazy to say, but this is at least a top 3 game on the 3DS, and then you follow this up with Fire Emblem Three Houses on the Switch, which is also probably a top 3 game on that system, and we have Fire Emblem coming out into the mainstream for Nintendo, being a massive franchise that's being really, really well loved and received. I wish a lot of the earlier games were more readily available in North America when they were originally released, because a lot of them, I think all the way back to the Super Nintendo, I'm pretty sure, never came out over here in North America. We also have Fire Emblem. This is Echoes, Shadows of Valentia. So this game, I'm pretty certain, let me just make sure, this is part of a trilogy, if I'm not mistaken. I need to get into these more, because I think I do have a special edition of this variation of game, but I think there's 2 more of these that kind of came out as a trilogy, but I need to make sure I know more about that, because Fire Emblem's only something I've gotten into in the last 3 or 4 years. I haven't been a fan for my whole life like a lot of other hardcore Fire Emblem fans are. I'm just a newbie in that franchise. We also have Fire Emblem Warriors. I bought this locally for real cheap. It was like $10 to $15 or something like that. Again, this is the exact same as Dynasty Warriors, but now with the Fire Emblem characters, just like Hyrule Warriors, by the way. Then we have one of the worst Pikmin games, the worst Pikmin game, Hey Pikmin. This is a game, Scott the Woz did a crazy good video about the really weak era of Nintendo in games, so he made a video about this. It's a game that no one really asked for or wanted, and it's pretty weird to play a 2D Pikmin game on the 3DS. It's like, They kind of even tried to make it almost, I guess, clickbaity, but like, hey, Pikmin? It just, I don't know what they were doing with this. They should have just made a 3D game for Pikmin on the 3DS. If it was multiplayer online, that would have been even cooler. One of the earlier games for the 3DS that sold really, really well, that does have a big box variation for this is all the way back to 2012. This is Kid Icarus Uprising. This, if I'm not mistaken, is also made by Sakurai, who makes Smash Brothers. He came out of nowhere to bring this franchise back because the original was out on the Nintendo Entertainment System. Then there was another game on the Game Boy, I think that was Kid Icarus as well, yes. And then way later, like 20 years later, we got this. Crazy huge jump, and it is a lot of fun. This is also probably a top 10 to top 20 game on the system. Would highly recommend it, especially if you can find the big box variation of that, which I will show during my limited edition special editions. We have Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn next. This is a port of a Wii game. Fantastic artwork in this game, of course. Everything is made of yarn and string, and they really went all out with that design. But like I said, Kirby's one of the easier 2D platforming games. I think it's mostly made for beginners. It's almost impossible to die while you play throughout this game. Then we have Kirby Triple Deluxe, reminding me a lot of the games on the Super Nintendo for Kirby. So this game is really, really good. This is a factory sealed copy, so I don't have one to play myself, and I really want to like kind of fix that. I think I might end up keeping these factory sealed games for another like 4 or 5 years, trying to find an open copy in the meantime, and then trade these away as really good trade pieces to try and get other things for my collection. But I want to be able to play all the Kirby games. Kirby doesn't get enough love recently, but we did have Kirby Fighters 2 just drop out of nowhere. The Nintendo showed on their Play Nintendo website, by the way, so that was crazy. Kingdom Hearts is a series that a lot of people have recommended to me. This is an insanely heavy game. It's still factory sealed, so I'm not exactly sure what comes in this to make this so heavy. Maybe Square Enix put some giant manual in this, but let me know what your thoughts are on Kingdom Hearts. This is Dream Drop Distance, by the way, and how good this game is in this series compared to all the other ones. I think most of the other games are obviously out on the PlayStation, and I don't really collect for PlayStation. Next up, we have the first 6 Mega Man games in Mega Man Legacy Collection. Honestly though, guys, I don't like playing this on the 3DS as much. The GameCube versions, to me, is a little bit better, but honestly, nothing beats having the classics on the actual system. If you're looking to play all 6 Mega Man games, you can't really go wrong with any console that you're playing them on. It's just not a definitive experience like it was on the NES. Then we have Metroid Samus Returns. So this is a remake of one of the earlier Metroid games. This one is part of a special edition. You can tell because the back doesn't have any information on it or anything like that it would normally have. So I will show off that better special edition when I get to it. Really good game, really good remake for that. Then we also have the Monster Hunter series. This is Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. This game felt like it came out on so many systems. At least it came out on more Nintendo systems. I thought it came out on the Wii U for sure. I wonder if it came out on the Wii, though. Maybe it was called Monster Hunter 3 Tri, or TRI, or something like that. Maybe that was an entirely different game. The Monster Hunter series has more amiibo coming to it, so that's kind of exciting too. I think they announced 3 more amiibo. One of them is more expensive than normal, and there's a ton of those amiibo out in other parts of the world. I'm just going to maybe separate these because I'm going to get a little bit too many games here. Alright, I also have Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. This one I found for $5. I haven't played this yet, but for $5, I wanted to jump on the Monster Hunter train, so I'm kind of jumping on the bandwagon, they would say, for this. So let me know. I just hear they're really good. I hear if you like fighting giant bosses, basically, if you're into that kind of thing, and reminds me of Zelda with giant bosses. Okay, then we have Pilot Wings Resort. I think I found this one for $5 or $7, and I was like, sure. The Pilot Wings game I really liked previously. It originated, I think, on the Super Nintendo in North America. There was one on the N64, and then they have Pilot Wings Resort, which almost feels like Wii Sports Resort were combined with Pilot Wings. Wii Sports Resort on the Nintendo Wii felt a little bit like Pilot Wings, especially with some of the different activities that you could do with flying. So I really wanted to get this and experience that on the 3DS. In terms of one more Pokemon game that I didn't mention during the others, this is a spin-off. This is Pokemon Art Academy. I still have this factory sealed. For a while, I was like, hey, maybe I have some time. Maybe I'll get into art, and maybe I'll try this out, and then it never happened. I bought this on I think it was a Boxing Day sale, blowout, where it was like buy two, get one free. So it was like less than $20. I have never played it. I feel guilty. This is one of my stupid purchases that I have never played, and I'm not sure if I ever will. At the same time, the same day, I'm pretty sure I got Professor Layton and the Azran Legacy. A lot of people speak really highly of these games. So I have also Professor Layton combined with Phoenix Wright. I was imagining that this one will go way up in value because people love both Professor Layton and Phoenix Wright, but who knows? Handheld games don't seem to climb as much, especially these ones that are in harder cases than games that are in cardboard cases like the Game Boy Advance, the Game Boy Color, and the original Game Boy. So these were me getting a series that people told me, especially because I like puzzle solving and problem solving, to definitely check these out. Again, time constraints. Look how many games there are. Tons of them. One of my favorite games of all time got released on the 3DS, and I was so excited. This is Star Fox 64 3D. It's as good as I remembered, with a little bit of boost of the graphics. I just don't feel that comfortable trying to use the motion controls when I play through this. I miss the original N64 controller and the Rumble Pack, but it's such a great game, and if you've never before, Star Fox 64 is more expensive than finding this variation, so you can definitely find this. Play it with the 3D on. It's pretty cool if you can handle it. Then a game I bought for $2 over and over again, open and factory sealed, Steel Diver. It was eventually a downloadable game that I think Nintendo was almost giving away for free. For some reason, when I found this for $2 or $3, factory sealed, this one's opened, I bought 6 or 7 copies, thinking there's no way these games are only worth $2 to $3 5 years from now, and hey, guess what? I was right. Now they're worth like 6 or 7. Big score. I guess I still am like waiting for them to go up enough to use them as trading pieces later on. But this is a really short experience, and it came out a little bit earlier in Nintendo's life cycle. I think this was one of the launch games for the 3DS, or really close to it. This is all the way back to 2011. Then we have Tales of the Abyss. This is a game I got from Toys R Us when they were doing blowouts for games for some reason, and I bought this, I think it was like $4.99 or something like that, and I was like, I think this could be a good game, and then I didn't play it yet. So that's another game that I stupidly added to my collection like a collector and haven't played it quite yet. I think I've played probably, I would say, 50 to 70% of my games, beaten about 30% of them, but the 3DS, I have not gamed enough, mostly because I get motion sickness if I ever try and play them on the go. So if I'm ever in a car or anything like that. However, next up we have Tomodachi Life. This game did insanely well in Japan, pretty well in North America and Europe and Australia and other places of the world, but crazy good in Japan. It reminds me a lot of Wii characters and Mii characters, and really it's very similar from what I hear to something like Animal Crossing, where you sink a ton of hours into that kind of game. And lastly, we have Ultimate NES Remix. So this is kind of a port over of a game that was on the Wii U. I would love to see these kinds of games ported over to the Nintendo Switch as well. This is a little bit different from my understanding, but it does have a lot of classic games from the NES remixed. So you kind of play through like Mario 3, for example, really briefly with just a few levels, trying to complete tasks, maybe trying to collect every coin before the timer expires, try and get to the end of the level, try and get the flagpole, playing various games like Dr. Mario and just accomplishing different tasks really quickly, and then a bell rings, basically, when you get something done, which is really cool. Just trying to get all the 3DS games in one shot. So we have all the games I did alphabetically. We have all the Legend of Zelda games. We also have the Pokemon games with the big box variations just for now. Then we have all the Mario-based games and all the Mario spin-off games. In total here, I have over 50 games for the 3DS. There's way more, and there's much larger collections out there. I tried to collect the games that I either want to play and experience, the games my wife enjoys, but other games I got just because I found a really, really good deal, and I thought maybe I would want these later on before the price goes way up, so I kind of jumped on the bandwagon for a few of them. So next up, let's take a look at all the special editions that I have. First up is this large box for Fire Emblem Shadows of Valentia. This is Echoes, of course. This limited edition, I think I did an unboxing video for this, which you can check out on YouTube as well. This one comes with 3 really neat pins and a soundtrack for the game. Love it. The Fire Emblem larger boxes, by the way, are really similar in size, which I really appreciated from Nintendo, because that's kind of cool that they kept them really consistent. Alright, next up we have Kid Icarus Uprising. I mentioned this earlier in the video. This is the bigger box. So if you're wondering what you get in the bigger box, you get the Nintendo 3DS stand included, so that you can use the stylus a bit more comfortably if you set this down on a tabletop in this larger box variation. I do expect this to go up in value, of course, over time, and it's already climbing steadily if you're into collecting 3DS games. Next up, we've got Mega Man Legacy Collection, but this is a factory sealed copy that comes with the gold Mega Man amiibo. So this is what the factory seal kind of looks like on it. It's not the cleanest of factory sealed, but it's pretty neat that you also get these postcards with it, along with the amiibo and the game. So this one is a lot higher up in value, mostly because the only way to get the gold Mega Man amiibo is in this set. So, really cool, but it's the exact same Mega Man amiibo that you get as the Super Smash Bros. Variation. It's just painted gold. So that's kind of interesting anyways. Alright, so let me just put this... Sure, let's put it right there. Actually, it looks way better. Let's just use the background. It looks so cool with that Mega Man amiibo. Next, we have Metroid Samus Returns, the special edition. This one includes the Samus Archives music CD with it. So it's a little bit of a wider box, by the way. This one sold out really quickly in my area, and it was harder to find and pick up, so I had to try and track this down, and I drove out of town, I'm pretty sure, to get this, so it was a little bit harder to get, but really neat to have that in my collection. Then I have Project X Zone. So this is a larger box. I paid $20 for this. So this one has some other really cool stuff in it. You get the limited edition, includes Project X Zone soundtrack, art book, the poster. So you really get this larger poster with this that has to unfold. But it's neat having this and finding it for like, it was $25 Canadian, so $20 roughly, less than $20 American. Then we have all the Pokemon games, which I already talked about. So there's all the Pokemon limited editions, because I already mentioned it, and like I said, I'm missing the one I would say that I want to get for Pokemon Moon that comes with the figure. I want to get the Pokemon Sun one, that's the one I'm missing. Then we have Shin Megami Tensei 4. This is made by Atlas. I found this factory sealed locally. The factory seal on it is not mint. There is a little rip right here, which is unfortunate. We get this strategy and design book along with the game. So I'm going to keep this factory sealed. It's one of the better games on the system as well, and this series is getting more and more popular over time, and any Atlas game seems to be rising in value as well. So that's why I'm going to keep it sealed, even though I want to play this. Gotta keep it sealed. Wonder if this can stay and just look really neat in the background right there. Another one of the most expensive amiibo out there is the Poochie amiibo, only available in this Poochie Yoshi's Woolly World. Poochie and Yoshi's Woolly World. I think Poochie might have been available in Japan on its own, so this one's really interesting because inside of here we have the Poochie amiibo, but they completely bent in order to get the amiibo in there. So I do have a Poochie that's already unboxed. I have never unboxed this. It's one of the only amiibo that I've never unboxed because this one's factory sealed and the value of this went way up over time. I did not find this one when it launched. I was able to trade for it later on and find it, and then I also got one that's already open so I could display Poochie. So that's the main reason why I have this, because made a trade, found it, just wicked to have that at all in my collection. Maybe we can just put that one right there. Poochie's looking on. And then we have the Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask 3D. This one comes with the Skull Kid figure, as I said. This is something that I was able to get 2 copies of, so I do have one open and one factory sealed, which I've kept all the way since release. I am shocked that this didn't go up in value very much. I think now maybe it's at something like $70 or $80, so it's barely gone up over time. I'm pretty shocked, because usually special edition Zelda items do go up way more in time, so I was wrong about this one. I was also kind of shocked that this did not include at any point an amiibo. Maybe this was out just before the amiibo, but 2015, this must have been out when amiibo was already out, and I don't know why it wasn't an amiibo, because the Skull Kid amiibo, so cool. Would love to see one for Goron Link as well. We do have one that's a Goron, obviously, with Daruk. But I would love to see the different variations of Link, especially from Majora's Mask, but Skull Kid figure. Really, really cool to have that in my collection. So those are my special editions for the Nintendo 3DS. Thank you so much for watching my collection video of 3DS as of September 2020. Let me know what games I should pick up. Let me know what consoles are your favorite or the variations you think I might want to add to my collection over time, because I'm not saying that this is a definitive collection of the 3DS in any sense. There are people that almost have every single game where they do have every single game for the console, but I'm trying to get the games that are either really fun to play, that I want to experience, or maybe they're collectible, maybe they'll go up in value and I can trade them later on or keep them in my collection forever. Maybe share them with my children one day as well. Like the video if you haven't. I would really appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel. I try and push out 2 videos a week is usually my schedule, and generally they're going on Wednesdays and Sundays, but it's been harder to make that happen, so I apologize. This video's on a Friday, just in time for the weekend anyways. And I'm gonna miss the 3DS being in stores. I hope prices for some games maybe drop a little bit and collecting for the 3DS gets a little bit more interesting over the next year or two. So probably try getting the 3DS games before they're completely out of stores, and you might be able to play a really good deal for them rather than prices going crazy later on for them, which would be a little bit more challenging. Thanks again for watching. Keep smiling while gaming. Go collect them all. Stay safe, everyone. You guys are awesome.